In the heart of an ongoing war, Ukraine has turned to the skies, utilizing drones to reshape the battlefield and disrupt Russia's war efforts. Discover how these tactical strikes, which target energy infrastructure and enemy convoys, are not just changing the dynamics of the conflict, but also influencing public perception within Russia itself. In recent times, the Ukrainian military has been strategically targeting Russia's energy grid to gain a wartime advantage. These drone-led campaigns are not just altering the landscape of the conflict, but are also significantly hindering the enemy's movements by crippling their supply chains and communications networks. Ukraine's decision to focus on Russia's power infrastructure using drones is driven by a combination of strategic and humanitarian considerations, primarily by attacking power lines. Ukraine is directly impairing Russia's ability to conduct operations on the ground, disrupting the electrical infrastructure, interferes with the enemy's logistics and communication systems, which complicates coordination among Russian units, and lessens the effectiveness of their war machine. As a result, Ukrainian forces achieve greater freedom to maneuver and can more effectively plan their defensive and offensive actions. In addition, targeting energy infrastructure places pressure on civilian populations within Russia. This heightened pressure makes the realities of the war more apparent to the Russian public, intensifying internal political challenges for the Kremlin. Through this approach, Ukraine hopes to weaken enemy morale and potentially shorten the duration of the war. Furthermore, considering that Russia's energy sector and infrastructure are vital for funding the war, assaults on these systems inflict substantial economic damage. These actions by Ukraine should be viewed as calculated strategic moves intended to expedite the war's end and safeguard the nation's sovereignty. Drone strikes on energy infrastructure highlight the complexities of modern warfare and the crucial role technology plays on the battlefield. Ukraine, leveraging its available resources and technology, is making every effort to weaken the enemy and protect its people and territory. This endeavor is of utmost importance in the fight for freedom and independence. June 12, 2025. The fighting in the Donetsk region continues to shape the war, with Ukrainian forces playing a decisive role. The focus has shifted to clashes near the strategically important village of Spirina. While on patrol and conducting reconnaissance, the 4th Rapid Reaction Brigade of the Ukrainian National Guard detected significant activity using advanced surveillance systems and drones. A Russian military convoy comprised of armored vehicles and personnel carriers was observed moving towards the area in preparation for an assault. Instead of immediately engaging, Ukrainian troops thoroughly analyzed the situation and devised a well-thought-out strategy. The convoy's movement patterns, speed, and potential escape routes were carefully assessed to maximize the chances of a successful operation. Once the planning phase was complete, the strike commenced. The initial target was a Russian tank leading the convoy. Initiating the attack, a precise hit by Ukrainian forces resulted in a massive explosion, completely destroying the tank. This sudden and powerful blow threw the Russian convoy into disarray, causing the other vehicles to attempt a hasty retreat. However, Ukrainian forces responded swiftly to prevent the enemy's escape. A second wave of attacks targeted the retreating armored vehicles, successfully neutralizing several of them. As the fighting intensified, some Russian soldiers abandoned their vehicles and tried to flee on foot. At this moment, Ukraine's technological advantage came into play. Experienced drone operators from the National Guard quickly identified the fleeing enemy infantry. Agile high-speed FPV attacked drones, tracked and eliminated each target individually. As a result, almost all of the escaping Russian soldiers were neutralized, leaving the enemy with no means of escape. Finally, following the clash, detailed scanning and reconnaissance operations identified all remaining usable Russian military vehicles, which were then rendered completely inoperable by Ukrainian forces. This operation once again demonstrated Ukraine's technological capabilities and tactical expertise in the field. June 12, 2025. Near Novo-Andreyka, Donetsk region, Ukraine's fortified defense lines faced another test. The focus was on a specialized drone unit within the Ukrainian armed forces known as the Hungarian Birds. While scanning the area with advanced reconnaissance systems, the team identified a Russian assault unit consisting of 2 tanks. Reacting quickly, the team analyzed the situation and launched FPV attack drones. Without delay, the drones, demonstrating remarkable precision, locked onto the Russian tanks and struck both targets directly. As a result, both tanks were immediately immobilized and rendered inoperable following the explosions. Some surviving Russian soldiers attempted to flee in panic. However, the Hungarian birds had anticipated this scenario and initiated a second phase of the operation. While the complete destruction of the tanks remained the top priority, the retreating infantry was also targeted individually. It was estimated that the initial blasts had already eliminated the majority of enemy troops. June 11, 2025. Tensions escalated in the Donetsk region near the village of Tarovka, where the Ukrainian armed forces had implemented extensive defensive measures to repel an attempted assault by Russian troops. As part of this effort, the Ukrainian Army's 14th Unmanned Aviation Complex Regiment was conducting effective field operations. The regiment was specifically utilizing cutting Switchblade 600 kamikaze drones to target Russian elements. Ukrainian soldiers observed the movements of Russian armored vehicles and personnel for a period of time before the attack. This surveillance phase was crucial for the operation's success, as it enabled precise timing and accurate targeting before the tracked Russian units could move into assault positions. Ukrainian forces launched their attack as a result of the swift and coordinated strike. Several Russian BMP infantry fighting vehicles were directly hit and destroyed. The Switchblade 600, a portable and lethal loitering munition system developed by the United States, has played a significant role in the Russia-Ukraine war. Manufactured by AeroVironment, this system has been supplied by the U.S. to enhance Ukraine's defensive capabilities, proving particularly effective against Russian armored vehicles and command centers. Compared to the smaller Switchblade 300, the 600 model has a larger and more powerful warhead capable of destroying heavily armored targets like main battle tanks. It is user-friendly and can be launched from the shoulder or a small ramp. As it approaches its target, the operator can use the live video feed and targeting system to improve accuracy. If the target is canceled or moves, the munition can loiter in the air, awaiting a new opportunity to strike. This flexibility makes it highly valuable on the battlefield in Ukraine. The system is often used in conjunction with high-precision weapons like HIMARS, making it ideal for ambushing armored convoys, eliminating command elements behind enemy lines, or neutralizing fixed defensive positions. Additionally, its low radar signature and silent flight profile increase its chances of bypassing enemy air defenses, allowing it to deliver significant impact in areas unreachable by conventional artillery munitions. June 11, 2025. Clashes in the Donetsk region continued without pause as the 59th Motorized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine maintained its surveillance activities along the front line. Unusual movement was detected near the village of Novo-Mikhailivka. Russian motorcycle assault groups were rapidly approaching the area, aiming to launch a surprise raid. However, this assault plan was foiled thanks to Ukraine's real-time intelligence and technological superiority. The movements of Russian elements were recorded moment by moment using high-resolution reconnaissance footage. After quickly assessing the situation, Ukrainian troops immediately deployed FPV attack drones. The FPV drones ascended into the sky and precisely targeted Russian infantry, delivering millimeter-accurate strikes. Every identified enemy element was neutralized by the drones. This operation not only demonstrated the decisive power of technology on the battlefield, but also highlighted the growing coordination and reaction capabilities of the Ukrainian army in the field. June 12, 2025. Tensions rose once again in the Dnipro River Delta. While the 40th Separate Coastal Defense Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces was carrying out patrol duties, they made a critical detection using advanced surveillance equipment. A Russian military boat moving along the river. Ukrainian troops were immediately placed on high alert and preparations for an operation began. In the first phase, mortar fire was launched toward the Russian boat. Despite the intense shelling, the vessel managed to evade the attacks with quick maneuvers and continued its course. However, Ukrainian forces remained patient. The true strike was planned for a more vulnerable moment, which arrived as the boat neared the shore. Russian troops disembarked and began moving onto land. Just then, A Ukrainian drone operator initiated the strike and attack drone already airborne, and in position glided toward the premarked coordinates, and released a bomb with pinpoint accuracy. A powerful explosion followed, neutralizing the Russian infantry around the boat. A few surviving Russian soldiers attempted to hide in dense vegetation nearby, but the drone's thermal and optical tracking capabilities quickly revealed their positions. A second wave of strikes was launched, eliminating each hidden enemy unit. The operation concluded with a clear Ukrainian victory, June 11, 2025. On the Turek front line, clashes intensified as intense close-range combat broke out. One of the key positions along the front held by Ukraine's 20th Mechanized Brigade, also known as the Lubart Brigade, came under sudden and unexpected assault by Russian forces. Advancing rapidly, Russian troops closed in on the brigade's strategic positions, triggering a fierce exchange of fire. Russian infantry, equipped with light arms, pushed forward aggressively and initiated a brutal close-quarters battle near the Ukrainian trenches. As gunfire echoed through the area, Ukrainian defenders responded with disciplined and coordinated resistance. Their firm defense repelled the assault, and several Russian soldiers were neutralized in the exchange. The turning point of the clash came with support from unmanned aerial systems. Drone operators from the first course of the Ukrainian National Guard began monitoring the battlefield in high resolution. They quickly detected the movement of surviving Russian troops, either fleeing or taking cover. Guided by this intelligence, the Ukrainian forces responded with precise drone strikes. Each detected Russian soldier was targeted and eliminated, shifting the momentum entirely. The fierce battle at Turek not only highlighted Ukraine's technological edge and tactical coordination, but also reinforced the determination of its troops on the front lines. This engagement carried significant weight for both regional security dynamics and the broader course of the war. June 10, 2025. In Seversk, Ukrainian forces successfully repelled a large-scale Russian assault, according to field reports from the 10th Mountain Assault Brigade, one of Ukraine's elite combat units. Russian troops launched an attack using 19 motorcycles, 3 vehicles, and a platoon-sized infantry formation. Despite the sudden and intense nature of the offensive, Ukraine's defensive response proved swift and effective on the battlefield. Russian forces were met with fierce resistance and suffered substantial losses. According to the brigade's report, 3 Russian soldiers were taken prisoner, 18 were killed in action, and 5 were wounded. In addition, 13 Russian motorcycles and all 3 vehicles involved in the attack were destroyed. Following the successful defense, Ukrainian units consolidated their control over the area, strengthening defensive positions and delivering a serious blow to enemy lines. The clash at Seversk stood as a key tactical and morale-boosting victory for Ukraine's forces. June 12, 2025. Ukraine's elite Shadow unit, renowned for its intelligence and operational precision, executed another highly effective mission on the Donbass front. Utilizing a state-of-the-art shark reconnaissance drone, the unit detected a high-value Russian asset. The Novoik 2 UAV system, a key component of Russia's electronic warfare and surveillance network. This system played a vital role in Russian battlefield intelligence and target coordination, making its detection and destruction a major strategic victory for Ukraine. Once the Novoik 2 was confirmed, Ukrainian forces responded without hesitation. Coordinates were immediately relayed to artillery units, who unleashed a concentrated barrage on the target zone. Simultaneously, precision drone strikes were launched, compounding the pressure. The result was a powerful explosion that engulfed the UAV system and its surrounding equipment in flames. Russian forces scrambled to contain the fire and salvage the system, but Ukraine had anticipated this move. Leveraging satellite-linked intelligence and real-time battlefield surveillance, Ukrainian command detected the Russian recovery attempt. As it unfolded moments later, a HIMARS strike was ordered. The HIMARS rockets hit the target dead on, not only intensifying the blaze, but also obliterating the entire station housing the Novoik 2 system. The scale of destruction rendered the UAV infrastructure completely inoperable. The aftermath saw a severely weakened Russian presence in the area. This operation wasn't just a tactical win. It showcased Ukraine's growing dominance in electronic warfare, deep reconnaissance, and battlefield. Timing, the Shadow unit once again proved that Ukraine's edge lies not only in firepower, but in smart surgical strikes against the enemy's most valuable assets. The Phoenix unit, one of the elite formations of the border guards under the armed forces of Ukraine, carried out a deep infiltration operation behind enemy lines, delivering a heavy blow to Russia's military presence in the rear of the front. These kinds of special operations, which have become one of the main dynamics of the war, once again demonstrated Ukraine's tactical flexibility and technological superiority during the operation. The Phoenix unit utilized numerous unmanned aerial vehicles supported by long-range reconnaissance and surveillance systems to identify critical targets positioned in the Russian army's rear positions. These attacks, particularly aimed at military logistics and command infrastructure, not only eliminated immediate enemy assets, but also significantly disrupted the coordination capabilities of Russian forces behind the front lines. Among the enemy assets destroyed during the operation was the TOS-1A Solntsipiok multiple-launch thermobaric rocket system, one of Russia's most feared weapons, known for its high destructive power and demoralizing impact. The elimination of this weapon was regarded as a major success not only militarily, but also psychologically. Additionally, 2 Russian main battle tanks, an armored personnel carrier, stationary enemy artillery batteries, and a highly critical Zhital electronic warfare U system were also individually targeted and destroyed by Ukrainian drones. The Zhital system had been used by the enemy to jam Ukrainian drone signals and disable GPS systems. Its destruction enabled Ukraine to conduct its drone operations in the region more effectively. What do you think about Ukraine's use of drones in warfare? Let us know in the comments, and subscribe for more on the latest strategies in modern warfare.